All right. Hey, everyone. In today's topic, I want to discuss saying that I've been meditating on recently, which is everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Um, I associate this to another quote that says, "The path to heaven looks like hell, and the path to hell looks like heaven." And I found this to be consistently true. The interesting thing is, and I'll give a few examples, everyone wants wisdom, but nobody wants the pain and insight that it takes to acquire. Everyone wants a fit body, but nobody wants the consistency to get the results. The consistency of behaving and doing the actions, the lifting the weights, the going to a place, whether that's a gym, a jiu-jitsu place, martial arts, etc. Um, Everyone wants wealth, but nobody wants to take the time to learn and fail and go through the valley of despair and go through what is necessary to actually make the right decisions or start failing forward. um, and this principle applies to almost everything. you know if I think about what my objectives are, whether it's a fit body, a peaceful mind, and wealth, all those things require certain behaviors. And there's behaviors that help me align with that, and there's behaviors that take me away from it. And the knowledge is there almost. Today we actually have the most access to what is necessary. And it's usually very simple. A fit body, go to the gym. um, in terms of spirituality, I think it's dissolved down to spiritual principles and values. If, like, the golden rules: don't do to others what you wouldn't want them do unto you. um that's pretty simple. And then, in the extent that we practice things like discipline, consistency, love, compassion, um but also part of wisdom, or the challenging part, is there's the wisdom to know the difference. When do I need to There's a time for peace, and then there's a time for war. When is that time? It's challenging. That's the challenging part. It's not as easy. So, thinking about all this, like, the path to heaven looks like hell. Like, if I want a fit body, or I want a healthy lifestyle, it's gonna look like hell. I'm gonna either have to wake up early, or go to the gym at a time that I don't want to, or have to face traffic and get set up and train with other people, and they might be using the machines. I have to wait and all that stuff, which is fine. Like, machines can be shared and so on, but it just creates resistance. And that's usually a good sign or indicator of where it is that I need to go or do. Um, you know, there was a wise old man who used to say that one of the ways in which he identified if something was what's best for him is if it gave him, uh, and if initially he felt resistance, but after doing it, he felt, um, either self-esteem or self-worth, or he was proud of what he had done. Like going to the gym, taking the time to get there, get everything ready, etc. The actual workout, sometimes it feels uncomfortable all the way, but once it's done, then you get the reward. So this basically is tied to long-term gratification versus short-term gratification. The opposite would be staying at home watching Netflix, chilling on the couch, scrolling through social media. So that's the immediate gratification. So taking action in the positive side, a lot of the times, is challenging. There is resistance, but getting it done is what gets the results. Everyone can talk very nice. Everyone knows what it is that they might need to do. That's the easiest part. The knowing is the freaking easiest part. The doing is the most challenging. That's where the rubber hits the road in every area of life. um and failing, like like the saying goes, the student had the master I'm sorry, the master has failed more times than the student has even tried. So acting, changing behaviors, like those are the symptoms of actual change. Behaviors, not not what I am able to regurgitate from wise men or from the gym coach or from anybody else. I can collect information very easily. It's in the actions. Like that's where I'll actually get results in my life. And in the same with um, spiritual disciplines. I'm not a religious person. I do believe in a higher power, and the pattern that I've seen with spiritual principles or with spiritual people is the principles and the values. So honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, humility, being of service, um, which is usually how we find fulfillment. Um, at some point um, in life, I thought I would find fulfillment from the outside in. Bigger house, bigger car, bigger bike, girlfriends, etc., etc. But that only stimulates the appetite. Material possessions have a function. Outside from that, they're probably uh, they're probably less beneficial. And when I give of myself to others, when I'm of service, when I help someone else, when I help a family member, etc., like that's where spirituality comes to light. That's where the rubber meets the road. It's not about you know being able to communicate very nice ideas. Like those things help, but ultimately is what am I doing? It's like the saying. I love sayings. Some more in particular, but there's one that says something like, "If you're spiritually awakened, go home and love your family." Man, that's one of the best lines I've ever heard. Um, there's many others, but circling back to the path to heaven, and everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Everyone wants a healthy lifestyle. Everyone wants to be wealthy. Everyone wants the material possessions. Everyone wants all that stuff, but nobody's willing to do what's necessary. Nobody's willing to accumulate wisdom, and sometimes, as mentioned, it's pain plus insight. And at some point in my life, like I used to run away from pain. Today I understand is one of my greatest teachers. Um, I think it's one of the recurrent cornerstones of evolution. Like that's usually one of the things that will help me change the most. That's usually where I feel the pressure to change. If I'm willing to feel the pain and understand what it's trying to tell me. Now, there's a saying: pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Pain is helpful up until some point, you know. After that, if it becomes suffering or um, inefficient or trying to find the word, if it loses its purpose, then it's just causing harm and suffering. So pain is there for a reason. It's trying to tell me something. It's one of the best teachers if I'm open enough to listen to what it's trying to tell me. So yeah, that's what I wanted to discuss. The path to heaven looks like hell. It means working out. It means being consistent. It means developing a spiritual routine or a spiritual practice. Um, and it's that equation. It sums up to long-term gratification versus short-term. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share today. Take care, everyone.